Hi friends, here is a very interesting interview question, which is a very popular interview question, and variations of this have been asked in a wide spectrum of companies from IT services to top product-based companies like Amazon, Microsoft, Google, etc. So let me just start with the simpler formulation of the question and then introduce you to variations on how this can be made slightly more complicated and what how top product-based companies and what they modify this question into to make it slightly trickier. So the question is as follows. This is the simplest formulation of it, which is, which discrete distribution has the largest or maximum entropy? When I say discrete distribution, I mean the distribution of a discrete random variable. That's what I mean here, okay? So very simple looking question, very easy to understand. Anybody who understands what is entropy, people who know what is a distribution, people who understand what is a discrete random variable, understand this question, right? Now, again, there are variations to this that I'll come to in just a few minutes. So to solve this question, the prerequisites that you need to understand are concepts in basic probability theory, basic probability for machine learning data science, the concept of entropy itself, which is very popular, which is very widely used in machine learning, right? And information theory also. Also, you need to understand some optimization techniques for machine learning, right? The optimization techniques are required when there is a variation of this question where you have to prove something on a whiteboard or when you have to derive something from first principles, right? So these are the prerequisites that you will need to know to answer this question. Now let's tackle the question itself. So again, let's assume we have a discrete random variable x which can take one of the n values, right? This random variable x can take, let's say 1, 2, 3, capital N. It can take one of these n values. Let's just start with this. Now we all know what entropy is. Like if you have a discrete random variable, its entropy can be computed as the minus of the summation over all values x, probability of x, log of probability of x. This is the formulation of entropy for a discrete random variable, right? Very simple. And we also know, look at this, what is px here? Px is nothing but the probability that the random variable x takes a lowercase x value. The summation x basically is summation of all the values from x equals to 1 to x equals to n. Standard formulation of entropy. But also remember that from basic properties of a probability mass function or a probability density function, again, here we have a discrete random variable, so we have a PMF. If it was a continuous random variable, this summation would have been replaced with an integration, and what we have is a probability density function. So one very basic property from probability theory is the summation over all x, px should be 1, right? So the probability that x takes 1, x takes 2, x takes 3, if you sum up all those probabilities, it should sum up to 1. This is a basic property of any probability mass function or probability density function, right? So now we know what is entropy. Again, I'm not going into explaining you how entropy is derived, why is this the formulation of entropy, etc. That we have covered in our course videos, right? So this is what entropy is. This is what a discrete random variable is. Simple. Now let's go and understand some intuition. Suppose we have this random variable x which can take values from 1 to n, right? Now imagine if the distribution, again, this is the probability mass function that I'm plotting here. This is probability that x takes one of these values, and this is one of the n values here on the x-axis. Think of it like your plotting of the histogram, right? Okay, so this is your probability mass function that we are plotting. Let's try to play with a couple of examples. So imagine if the distribution was such that probability that x equals to 4 equals to 1 and probability x not equals to 4 is 0. This is a valid probability mass function. And the reason it is a valid probability mass function is because if you take the probability that x equals to 1 plus x equals to 2 plus x equals to 3, so on and so forth, the sum of all those probabilities is 1. So it's a valid probability distribution, and all the probability values lie between 0 to 1. It's a valid probability mass function. Here what's happening here is that given this random variable x, when you generate values from this random variable x, it will always generate the same value 4. It will not generate any other values from 1 to n except 4. That's what this PMF or this probability distribution or probability mass function is telling us. Now if you have a random variable like this is a valid PMF. Right? This is a valid distribution, if you think about it, of a discrete random variable x which takes values from 1 to n. Now look at this. This is very interesting now. Now this has the lowest entropy. If you think intuitively, right? Like, what does entropy mean? Entropy is a measure of randomness, right? Or instead of saying lowest entropy, we can also say it has the highest certainty. Again, you can think of entropy as a measure of uncertainty. If you think intuitively, I'm not going into the math here. I'm just trying to give you an intuitive explanation behind it. Because if a random variable x has this sort of distribution, if you sample points, you will always get 4. So there is no uncertainty. It has the highest certainty, which means it has the lowest entropy. If it's a discrete random variable, which can take one of the n values, right? Very simple. So if you have this sort of distribution, it has the lowest entropy or the lowest randomness or the lowest uncertainty or the highest certainty. This is the intuitive way of thinking about entropy. Now let's look at the other option, right? What if you have a distribution like this, where for each of the n values that you have, the probability that x equals to I is 1 by n, which means probability that x equals to 1 is 1 by n, probability x equals to 2 is 1 by n, probability x equals to 3 is 1 by n, and so on and so forth. Probability x equals to n is also 1 by n. Like, if you have this sort of distribution, again, what we are showing visually here, we have just written it as an equation, right? This is like the diagram, this is the math behind it. Probability x equals to I is 1 by n for each I that belongs to this range, that belongs to the set of numbers 1 to n, because your random variable x can take one of these n values. Now, if you look at this, suppose if you start sampling, suppose you have a random variable x, a discrete random variable which can take values from 1 to n with this sort of distribution or mass function. If you start sampling, what happens? With equal probability, you can get 1, 2, 3, 4 up to n, which means when you sample points, you have the lowest certainty on which value you will get. Or in other words, you have the maximal or the most randomness. So if you think about it, it has the highest entropy or highest uncertainty or highest randomness, or you can think of it as lowest certainty. So if you think intuitively, given a discrete random variable which can take n values, intuitively if you think about it, this seems to make the sense. Intuitively. We'll also prove it rigorously and mathematically. So if you think intuitively, for a discrete random variable which can take n values, it seems logically that a uniform distribution, look at this, this is a uniform distribution, right? Because all of these n values are having the same probability. So it looks like that the uniform random variable has maximal entropy, right? In this case, right? Makes logical sense. But here comes the fun part. So highest entropy discrete value distribution is a uniform discrete distribution of as long as the uniform random variable takes values from 1 to n. Simple. Now here comes the fun part. Till here is what you can expect in services companies, even in some product-based startups. Once you go to the top-notch companies, an interviewer might start with that simpler question. When you say, hey, I think it's uniform distribution because intuitively I think you give this intuition behind it. You say, intuitively, this is what entropy is trying to measure. It's trying to measure uncertainty or randomness. And I think this has the lowest entropy, this has the highest entropy. Logically, intuitively makes a lot of sense. Now, the interviewer can complicate the question, especially this happens at product-based companies, especially top product-based companies, and say, hey, can you prove that rigorously? This is where things get more interesting. This is a variation of the question. The interviewer might start with a very simple question, but he'll twist it and say, hey, can you prove that mathematically and rigorously? Let's go into that now. Okay, this is what our entropy is, right? Look at this. This is the entropy for a discrete random variable. We have seen this formula already. Now, what do we want to do? We want to find those px's, because px, the set of all probability values across all x values is what is your probability mass function. That's what is your distribution, right? So you're trying to maximize this entropy over by modifying all the probability values. So let's say px is nothing but the probability that x equals to x, capital X equals to lowercase x. That's what this px means. I've just written it in short form here. So what do we want to find? We want to maximize the entropy by tuning or by tweaking these px values. This px is probability that x takes a value x. The random variable x takes a value lowercase x. So if you want to maximize this, this is equivalent to maximizing this, because this is what entropy means. And when you have a formulation like this, you can use the standard maxima and minima concepts in optimization that you probably learned in your 11th and 12th class mathematics, which are the foundations for AI, machine learning, all the optimization literally, right? It's gradient, or it's basically basic derivatives, right? So let's use that. to actually find the values of px which will maximize this function, right? So let's do that. Now, one more very important thing that you have is, look at this. You're trying to maximize, this is a formulation for entropy, but also remember, when I try to find these values px, the sum of all px's should be equal to 1. Because remember, see, so what I'm trying to write here is an optimization problem. I'm trying to maximize the entropy across all px values such that the sum of all these px values over all x values equals to 1. Right? Again, in the prerequisites, I am assuming that you know optimization methods. So this is called a constrained optimization problem because you have an objective and you have a constraint. Whenever you have constrained optimization problems, what do? There is a very simple trick in optimization that you probably know, which is you just apply Lagrange multipliers, right? So whatever you have here, you can move it into the objective function using the Lagrange multiplier lambda here. So what we have done here is, look at this, what we have done here is, we have taken this and we have moved it to the objective function. Standard optimization, nothing very fancy. This is same mathematics that you probably learned for optimization for machine learning systems, right? When you derive machine learning models through optimization techniques, this is what you do, right? So this is your entropy, this is your Lagrange multiplier, this is the constraint that is put into the objective function. Standard technique of Lagrange multipliers. Okay, cool. So this is what we want to maximize now. Now let's write this whole thing as L of px. I'm just trying to give a name to it. Let's call it capital L. We want to maximize it, remember. We want to maximize this capital L. Very simple, very nice, neat. Now whenever you want to maximize something, what do? You take the first derivative. At maxima, the first derivative has to be 0 for each px. Simple logic, right? At maxima, whenever you're trying to find the maximum value for this, at maxima, the derivative of L, because L is a function of px's. What we are trying to tweak here is px's. We are trying to find the best px values such that this whole thing is maximized, right? Suppose if you want to maximize this function, at maxima what happens? The derivative or the partial derivative of L with respect to each px will be equals to 0. Or in other words, the partial derivative of L with respect to px equals to 0 at maxima for each px, right? So let's just take the partial derivative of L with respect to px. So this is dou by dou px. This is the same LPX that we have written here. The same LPX I've just copied and pasted it here, and this should be equals to 0, right? So this should be equal to 0 for each px. That's what I mean. Remember, there are n px's here, right? Because x takes values 1, 2, 3, 4 up to n. And this summation x is from x equals to 1 to n. Here also x equals to 1 to n, right? I've just skipped that for brevity. Okay, so let's solve this. Okay, this is the partial derivative that we want to solve. This is very simple to compute, right? Very simple partial derivative. Look at this. Here you have a px, here you have a log px. Here you have summation over all px values. So let's take the derivative of this. Minus is minus. So here what do you have? You have summation over all x px log px. Only for this px you will take the derivative, rest everything you don't care, right? So okay, now let's see how this works. So the derivative of px is 1. You're just applying the product rule of differentiation. The derivative of px with respect to px is 1. Just log px, write it as is. Very simple. Keep the negative sign here. This px, keep it as is. What is the derivative of log px with respect to px? It's nothing but 1 by px, right? Plus lambda times. So the derivative of px with respect to px is 1. The derivative of 1 with respect to px, because 1 is constant, is 0. So that's it. What we have just used is simple product rule here. That's all. Otherwise, it's a straightforward partial derivative. This is like 11th class math, right? Nothing very fancy or hard here. Okay. Now remember, this has to be equated to 0. So let's simplify the LHS, right? When you simplify the LHS, what do you get? You get minus is here, 1 you can ignore, log px is here, minus 1 plus lambda equals to 0. Now if you simplify it, you'll get px equals to, again just simplify the LHS RHS. You'll get px equals to e power, because you have log here, you'll do e power lambda minus 1. Now observe one thing, this px value, which is e power lambda minus 1, is the same for all px's. Look at this, px is e power or exp of lambda minus 1. What does this tell us? Very importantly, what this tells us is that px values are the same for all x's. This is a very important conclusion here, very important step here. Px is the same thing because your lambda is a constant here, right? So what do you have? You have Px equals to exp of lambda minus 1. So which means your Px is the same for all x here. That's very important. If your Px is the same for all x, and if the summation of Px's over x equals to 1, what does that mean? Remember, the summation over all x Px should be equals to 1 because this is a basic property of any probability distribution. And we realized with this step, we realized that all Px values are the same, right? And you have n values of x that are possible, which means Px should be equals to 1 by n. Very simple, right? Look at this. If this is the case, all Px's are the same. And if you sum up all the Px's such that x equals to 1 up to x equals to n, you will get 1. Solved. Now what does this mean? This means what we have is a uniform distribution, discrete uniform distribution across n values. Again, this proof is not complicated. This proof is very, very simple. All we are doing here, if you look at the steps, we are trying to maximize the entropy such that this probability constraint is satisfied. To solve this problem, we just use Lagrange multipliers, simple first derivative, very simple concepts, very basic concepts as far as machine learning and optimization are concerned, right? So if you solve this whole thing, what you got is a uniform discrete distribution, right? Very simple question, nothing very fancy or hard. Now one thing which is very important with respect to this question here is this variation of proving. Look at it from the interviewer's perspective. Intuitively, if you know what entropy is, you'll be able to answer the first part of the question. The proving part you'll be able to answer only if you're comfortable with the optimization techniques underlying machine learning. Otherwise, you'll not be able to prove this, right? And in most top product-based companies, they expect you to have strong mathematical foundations. This is one way for them to test if you have strong mathematical foundations and if you can translate those concepts in optimization to solve interesting problems like these. Right? It's not a hard problem, it's a simple, straightforward problem. If you know optimization well, this is considered a straightforward problem. There are variations of this problem which are slightly trickier. For example, a variation of this problem which is very popular in top product-based companies like Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Facebook, Flipkart, etc. is this. What is the maximum entropy continuous random variable distribution given a mean mu and a standard deviation sigma? Look at this. This formulation is slightly different. Here what we are looking for is a maximum entropy distribution across continuous random variables, right? Given that we already know a mu and a standard deviation. We know the mean and the standard deviation. Given this, what is the maximum entropy distribution? You can guess it that it's going to be a normal distribution, but the hard part there, or the trickier part, it's not actually hard, it's basic, again, same method. You write your objective, you write a constraint optimization problem, you take the Lagrange multipliers, do the first derivative, solve it. It's actually fairly simple. Slightly more involved than the simpler case. Proving it is a more interesting part. So what I'll do here is, under this video, I'll paste a very interesting lecture notes from a machine learning course at Princeton University. Please look at section 8.2, where this is derived step by step, in case you want to derive. Again, I strongly recommend you try to derive it just like the way we have done it. So this is a variation of a question along with proof, which is a very popular question in top product-based companies because it is testing your understanding of entropy, probability, and optimization all in a single question, right? So please try to tackle this question on your own. If you're stuck, I'll provide you the lecture notes in the description section. Please look at section 8.2. Very simple to follow. If you have understood this video, this lecture notes is straightforward to follow, especially section 8.2. So all the very best in your preparation and learning.